All right, what is up, sports fans? We are back for another episode of The Fan in the End. I'm your host, as always, Stephen Rychel, Mr. Marvin Powell III to the right of me, and as always, the big man himself, Mr. Ben Troupe, right underneath me. Fellas, how are we feeling this afternoon?
Good.
Good, man. Always good, man. Drive-by graveyards ain't in them, man. As my grandfather would say, we good over here.
All right, so first and foremost, obviously, Thanksgiving's coming up here on Thursday. What's everyone's plans? Let's start off with Marvin. Go to Ben. What are we doing for this Thanksgiving holiday?
Yeah, man. The wife and I, the kids, we're going to travel north and enjoy a nice Thanksgiving in New York. I'm going to an event with some old friends and looking forward to that. But wife and kids will be together and may even see the Macy's Day Parade.
Ooh, there you go. What about you, Ben? What are you doing with the family?
Man, just going down to my mom's crib. My mom, we decided as a family because when you got this is how we gonna do these holidays. You can't get every one of them. So my mom was like, "Can we just spend Thanksgiving at her crib?" I was like, "Yeah, gonna be a lot of young energy in there." Watching a bunch of games, a bunch of yelling at kids without actually moving. One of those, y'all better not be, you're not really moving nothing but your neck, looking over your shoulder. Y'all, and because we got them age 20, 22 all the way down, 23 all the way down to 3, they can kind of police each other. But just looking forward to laughing a lot, really seeing my mom hold back the tears because when she first came up with the idea, she didn't think we was going to agree to it. She hit us, my mom hit me with them. I know y'all all grown now. Y'all got your own family. Man, what you want to do, man? Don't hit me with, what do you want? You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna be down there and, happy birthday to my sister, man. She's 41 years young today. So, usually she's a thing. My mom had, my parents had all holiday babies. My sister sometimes is on Thanksgiving. My birthday is sometimes Labor Day and my brother's April Fool's. So, we holiday babies, man.
I'm November 27th, so I know how you feel with that.
We're happy early birthday. Happy early birthday, sir. You know what I'm saying? Happy early birthday.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, much different mood here in the Rychel household. My mom's going to be home, so kids will be here. My brother's going to be here, so, got to make sure there's a few more chairs around the table this year. So definitely some good stuff going on in our household this year. So definitely going to enjoy it. I hope everyone enjoys their holiday. And speaking of, we were talking about Bernie last week. It's his birthday today, and less than a week after his transplant, he is already home. That dude is something else. So, big shout out to Bernie. Glad everything's going well. There was no rejection with the his liver transplant, and that's going to be a story of 2025. One of the few good ones that we're going to have.
Netflix already done hit him up. Netflix done hit him up already.
Well, listen, NFL Films have already interviewed him. They already got stuff going. They ain't slow. They're going to take advantage of this, and I do not blame them one bit for jumping on that. Bernie's got is definitely a man that has some stories about him. So. Gonna be glad for that one, but let's get right into this thing, and let's start this off with the main topic. Obviously, me and Ben were very vocal during the draft process. What was going on with Shedeur Sanders? We did not care for it one bit. We a lot of us were banking on what we knew Shedeur Sanders was, and he came to play. For his first start, obviously, he's not blowing the world off, but I think he's one of the first quarterbacks to have multiple different catches over 50 yards in his first start. Obviously, again, not blowing the world off the thing, but definitely looked a lot better than what they had out there in Dillon Gabriel, and that's not taking anything away from Dillon. We all knew what Shedeur Sanders was, and I think another cool note about this, over the last 18 quarterbacks that had since 1999, since the Cleveland Browns have been reinstated there in Cleveland, he is the first quarterback to win his debut, his first start as a Cleveland Brown. that's some help get the funk off of our team right there. So happy for Shedeur, and came across this one. Obviously, Dion had something to say about Shedeur's first start, and basically it's the first time he's watched him play where Dion wasn't on the sidelines. So a unique moment there for him. Couldn't be happier for Shedeur finally getting a little bit of that respect. Obviously, he still has a ways to go. Listen to Eric Mangini sitting there telling us that he needs to he still needs to be humbled a little bit more. I don't know how much more humbling you need. You guys knocked him already down to the 5th round. You were sitting there telling us he's this, that, and the third. He's a culture changer. Maybe not in the likes of like a Michael Jordan or an Allen Iverson, but he's one of those guys I believe that can help change the culture. What is that Cleveland Browns organization? We saw a little bit of that obviously Sunday. We'll see what the rest of the story has to tell. Let's start this one off on Marvin. Obviously, this is the first time the three of us are kind of getting together talking about Shedeur. So what were your thoughts on his debut, and what's it going to take to get this monkey off his back? He needs to be humbled thing, because this is blowing my mind.
Yeah. I'll start it from this perspective. When you look at the amount of criticism, the amount of media, the amount of content that's been created, with this kid and against this kid, he has handled everything. When he gets in front of a microphone, he is professional. He's funny. He's confident, and he shows nothing but gratitude. He's thankful just to be mentioned. He's thankful just to be in the league, just to be in Cleveland. And nobody talks enough about that. His emotional intelligence, his maturity. What a great job Dion and the mother of Shedeur have done in raising this young man. This is not an accident. This is intent. When a person is dealing with adversity like this, that's intentional in his parents and how they raised him. Okay, so let's just talk about the man he really is and the maturity he's showing and he's been throughout. This kid was projected. You have people who thought he'd be the number 1 pick overall. Okay, people who are pounding the table about he's a top 3 quarterback, top 3 player. And guess what? You saw it. This guy with 1 week of practice with the ones after being with the scout team for the first 10 whatever weeks, this kid's out there balling. Do you realize that the Cleveland Browns all year have had 1 play of over 35 yards in the passing game? But in his game, they had 3. So, listen, he's showing you the kid has never failed. He's succeeded everywhere he's gone. You know what I'm saying? Even, in the preseason, he looked all right. He was making plays, right? You put him out there in his first start, he gets a win on the road as a Cleveland quarterback on a team with a horrible O based upon what you've seen all year. So this kid showed flashes. He made plays. The biggest thing that I walked away with is at the end of the game when it's over, he was confident, man. This kid he wasn't shook. He wasn't rattled. And for a young quarterback, forget the physical stuff. The number one thing you focused on when you're looking at them trying to evaluate is their mindset, their mentality. Who are they in the midst of adversity? This kid is never rattled. You know what I'm saying? And I think the future is bright for him. I think Shedeur is a franchise quarterback. I was high on him coming out of college. All he did at Colorado is make plays. And you look at Colorado now. What are they really missing? Granted, I know they're at the Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter, but what are they missing? They're missing that quarterback. He's the guy that touches the ball every single play, and when the offensive line breaks down, whatever it may be, he can do something. He showed us that at Colorado, and he showed us that on that long pass, that long 50-yard pass that he made in the game against the Raiders. So this kid is doing nothing but showing flashes. I think that, obviously, listen, at some point, the NFL defensive coordinators, are going to get a book on you. So I expect him to have some kind of adversity if he does play for the whole season as a starter. But he showed us that he's somebody that we should be looking at. He showed us a lot more than Dylan Gabriel. And that's just what it is, man. That kid looked good, and he handled the situation well. And in regards to, Mangini and these guys, I think a lot of people struggle to identify just a confident young black kid, confident young black man. I think they struggle. I think it rubs them the wrong way to see someone who's not arrogant, but at their core, they're confident. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't, they were raised with a certain mentality that, we're man, you're a man, you equal everything. So, I think for a lot of people, that's a struggle. And I think people hate to admit that. But this kid to me is brilliant. And I love the way he's carried himself. I think the energy for his teammates is real. He, like you said, Steve, he's a culture changer, and it's a good thing. So it's a positive thing. So I think the sky's the limit. I'm excited for this kid.
I agree. I think a lot of these pundits, critics, whatever, are having a problem wrapping their heads around it. Because Jackson Dart, he's got swag, he's got this,
exactly.
that,
exactly.
Baker Mayfield,
Tom Brady out here cussing out referees on film. People, like we love the grit. You know what I'm saying? Like really. You know
but anytime we hear this from one of our skillful black quarterbacks, they need to learn this. They need to act like I can't wrap my head around it. It is almost sickening to me at this point in time. I cannot stand it, and that's a lot of reason why a lot of us get into this part of media, because we just can't stand what we normally see out of your major ones. Ben, your thoughts on the whole Shedeur Sanders debut and the nonsense that still sort of surrounds him.
Man, I'm super happy for Shedeur Sanders because no one knows what he's going through but him. When you talk about where he got drafted, if they were that confident in Dillon Gabriel, they wouldn't have drafted Shedeur in the 5th. They wouldn't have drafted 2 guys. The last time a team drafted 2 guys, RG3, Kirk Cousins. How did that work out? Kirk Cousins ended up having a better career than RG3 because of injuries and things like that. But I want to touch on something that Marvin just said. Eric Mangini, Rex Ryan. Sometimes just say, I don't understand culture. I don't understand that level of confidence. I mean, Steve, this time last week you were telling about your son get ready for his game. The last thing you want to see is your son not confident out there. Be confident before I do anything else. Where does confidence really come from? Confidence comes from evidence. I've done it so much that I'm confident in my ability. Not because somebody told you that. No, I've done it over and over and over again. But culture is something that's hard to describe if all you do is partake of it and you ain't never been engulfed in it. Eric Mangini, what would Eric Mangini be without big-time black players? He's probably going to still be in the booth right now, but he had a longer career than he did. And Rex Ryan, don't even get me started. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. When Ryan Clark and them looking at Rex Ryan like, dude, like, what's up with you? Like, you telling me that Shedeur Sanders is more arrogant than Baker Mayfield? I give you another quarterback. What about Johnny Manziel? Remember him? He had the whole world by storm doing the money sign. Baker Mayfield shooting birds in college, running from the police, still went number 1. All I'm saying is sometimes it is hard to see because Deion Sanders is killing a lot of myths. Because black guys don't care about their kids, right? Wait, what? That's the only coach he's ever had. It's so many things going on at one time. But Shedeur said, all I can control is Sunday. And when he made that throw, look at Myles Garrett. Kevin Stefanski, I have never come across a coach like this. I ain't never come across a coach that give game balls. Of course you're going to give a game ball to Myles Garrett and what he's doing. Oh, Shedeur had a good game too. I guarantee you, if that's Dillon Gabriel with his first start in his first, when he get a game ball. I don't know what Kevin Stefanski is still in this thing. Hey, man, that's who y'all drafted. I don't know what's up with the GM, the president, the head coach, and the owner, where everybody got something different. But whoever made the pick got it right. Even if Shedeur don't win another game this season, look at what he does to that sideline. Look at what he does to that offense. Because if you are Myles Garrett and guys like that, you saying, dude, what do we got to come out here and play with? Denzel Ward and Delpit and those guys. So for one day, he had his moment. And then people saying, hey, man, why look at him in the post-game press conference. Dude, we need to find us something to do. You know how many games got played on Sunday? We looking at, but why you so focused in on Shedeur? Because you want to see if he failed. Uh-oh, dang, he won. No, he didn't look great in the win, but I'd rather look okay in the win than look great in the loss. I don't want to have a great game we lose. I want to have a good game and we win the game. That throw was nice though. That throw, that receiver didn't know he could get it to him because when he caught it, he kind of felt like, dude, I don't want him to overthrow me. He caught it, but his momentum took him to the ground. But I'm just happy for Shedeur because he gets to breathe. just a little. I've never seen a 5th round pick. And let me tell people this: for everybody talking about Tom Brady, where he got, you didn't know who Tom Brady was, right? Until Drew Bledsoe got hurt, he came in the game. You did not know who he was until then, and then the rest is history. You would have thought Shedeur was the 5th overall pick, not the 5th pick, fifth round pick, the way we've been talking about him. You got Mel Kiper getting mad because people don't like, well, Mel, you the one, I know what I said. So for one day, hey, man, talent won. Preparation won. And regardless of what he didn't do, just say you have the same game and they lose. See, I told you all this. No. We're talking about the Browns. The Browns have had like 42 quarterbacks since like 2000. The Browns, let's not get it twisted. Like, it ain't a Shedeur problem. It's a Browns problem. I don't care who it was. I mean, I know Bernie just had, but maybe Bernie could tell us, hey, man, Bernie, what was it like playing for Cleveland when you was, oh, man, when I played? You know what I'm saying? It's been that long. So I'm happy for Shedeur. Super duper happy for Deion. Every dad wants to see his son go to the highest heights they can athletically. If you are Deion Sanders, to see your son first start up in the booth, man, give him a hug for the game, that's doing it. Because I can speak for Marvin, I can speak for you, Steven. We ain't got no reason to watch no Browns without Shedeur. We weren't watching them.
I don't want to watch them. I mean, obviously,
that give you a reason to watch, right? We didn't watch Carolina that much until Cam got there. Ain't nobody worried about no Jake Delhomme. Certain players make you want to watch. Randall Cunningham came.
No, ain't wrong here. There's no middle ground for sure. Shedeur. It's either he's trash or he's the best ever. It's actually kind of
and the thing about that, Bo, is this. It's crazy. Let me tell you something. What Shedeur Sanders' experience is the fact that the one thing no one wants to get past is this. People still got a problem with black quarterbacks in 2025. They'll give Patrick Mahomes a pass, right? Because he light skinned. And that's a totally different conversation that we can get into, right? The thing about Shedeur, people say, hey, man, I want to kill this myth that black people got a problem. We the one that got the color problem. We don't. We ain't never had a color problem.
I mean, if you got to think about it, what we're what three black quarterbacks in on the Super Bowl, and still look what happens here in Philadelphia. We still trying to tear down Jalen Hurts.
You think Josh Allen get the same kind of? You think Josh Allen? Get the same
Josh
kind
Allen.
Of,
listen, we talk about this all the time. Josh Allen has a terrible game. It's everyone else's fault.
It's everybody else's fault.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know who else they did that for? They did that for Peyton Manning. They did that for Tom Brady. They did that for Aaron Rodgers. Right? Yeah. And all I'm saying is it happens in real time. And Shedeur Sanders was like, dude, hopefully by the time I get there, that'll be gone. Oh, no. Not only are you a starting quarterback, you a legacy player. You a Sanders. So now you bringing legacy in this thing. I'm just happy for Shedeur, and no matter what. Kevin Stefanski got home, and Mr. Stefanski said, dude, why didn't you give Shedeur a game ball?
I had a problem with that too, man. I didn't. Well, I already said I think no matter what happens, Kevin Stefanski's done at the end of the season. Because if I remember correctly, he didn't want to draft Shedeur. It was the owner was like, "You're going to draft him here. If he's still available when our pick's available, you're going to take him."
It was the GM. The owner said he was out of the building. At a certain point in the day, and when he was in the building, nobody had ever mentioned Shedeur. But when Shedeur was still there in the 5th round, Barry was basically like, he's too much value to not pick up in the future. And there was an issue. That was so.
Listen, we're gonna find out next week. Obviously, San
Francisco. Here it comes.
We'll find out next week, right?
I'll tell you like this. I never really bought into the hype that Stefanski had an issue with Shedeur, and it was honest. I didn't buy until I realized he didn't get the game ball. Because that is so strategic and after the game exactly what this is. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. On the road, your first game. We haven't had someone do this in over 25 years or whatever the number is. Something crazy. I mean, that's a historic moment, and your job as a head coach, as a leader, is to motivate your team, motivate your players. What a phenomenal opportunity to give confidence to your young quarterback, who you're going to be starting the next week. Mm-hmm. So it was up until that moment when they announced he didn't get the ball. That's when I realized there's a
Oh yeah,
problem.
No, and even more so, like
and now they film it because they film it. They film it after the game.
Yep.
I'm
And
just
even more so, he was sitting there like they were the media members were asking if he's going to start next. He's like, we're not going to get into that yet. Like what? Like listen, if I'm ownership, much as I love some of the attributes Kevin Stefanski brings, he has to be gone.
In the words of the great Jay-Z, I ain't shaking and jiving and high fiving. You know this ain't back in the day, right, Stefanski? This ain't back in the day. And the thing about it is this, right? When it's all said and done, right? Shedeur gonna end up being better at what he does than what you just. We respect your position as a head coach. That don't mean I respect you because you might not be that good. Because with Kevin Stefanski, everybody, he's a great coach. This, that, and the third. Hey man. Why you look over my shoulder and say Shedeur, good job? We get like kind of look over and giving out game balls. I know I'm not Myles Garrett. I ain't even in the same stratosphere. I wanted Myles Garrett so bad to say, no. Hey, Shedeur, this for you. Oh my God, I wanted him to throw him that ball. Because guess what? They would have still had to give Myles his, and they would have gave Shedeur. But that's why Shedeur is a saint.
And let's get into I know he's one of our topics. I want to get into this one because obviously he's on the cusp. There is no way at this point in time Myles Garrett does not break the single season sack record. I mean, he has 6 games? He has 6 games to basically come up with what 5 sacks?
Woo.
I think he could do it in 2.
He's gonna shatter it. I think he's gonna shatter it.
I mean, listen, I do think he's going to shatter it. I think he's going to do it in less games than we used to do. I think he's going to do it in less than 16 games. But I get why you want to give him the game ball. He broke his own team sack record, but it should have been saved for this moment right here when he breaks Michael Strahan's record. I think that's when you should have saved that moment for. I agree with Marvin that it should have been something to help build up Shedeur, but it's one of the reasons why I think Kevin's gone. But Myles Garrett is an absolute wrecking ball. We already knew what he was coming in the season. The suitors were at least I think 10 teams deep when we were hearing all the trade rumors, and people offered some nice packages for him, but he stayed there in Cleveland. He wants to build there in Cleveland. He is having another amazing season. I think he is the youngest. I think the youngest player to produce 120 career sacks faster than Reggie White did it. So he is on pace to be one of the guys that we talk about as one of the great defensive players in NFL history, especially when it comes to getting after the quarterback. So I'm going to start off with Ben on this one. Myles Garrett is going to break this, and he's going to redefine what we call an elite pass rusher.
I remember when he came out, number 1 overall pick out of Texas A&M. A lot of guys had a lot to say. Warren Sapp had a lot to say. Booger McFarland had a lot to say. I don't see these guys doing this. I don't see him being that. I don't think he's in the same level as Von Miller. Let me tell you something. When you talk about Reggie White, we talk about Bruce Smith, when you talk about LT, we talk about Lawrence Taylor, we talk about Aaron Donald. You better start talking about Myles Garrett. You better start talking about that boy like that because he is him. Because doesn't something happen to players when they get the money? It's not that they play down. They don't play as well. Myles Garrett is him. His name is Myles Timothy Garrett because he is Timothy. He is. And the thing about it is, look at how many guys are blocking him on Sunday. They sending the tackle. They sending the tight end. They sending the running back, and he's still getting there. I appreciate the fact that Myles Garrett is still the best player on his team at this age and stage of his career. I think he'll be 30 next month. And Myles doing it on a bad franchise. People are like, he just took the money. Let me tell everybody this. I hope you take the money too. I can get a Super Bowl ring on eBay. You hope you win one, but let me get this straight. You get to the end of your career and say, yeah, Tom Brady took less money. Tom Brady also had endorsements. Tom Brady also is Tom Brady, who's on TV every day, who got like almost $350 million to go in the booth. He's also a part owner of the Raiders. I'm happy for Myles Garrett because he was built in a freaking lab. I mean, he was. I mean, and a lot of times when you hear about Myles Garrett, you say, "Oh man, is he really that good?" And you go up against him like, "Yeah, he him. Like he's a." And I'm just happy that he seems to be a really, 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 really good teammate. You don't hear no negative stuff about. Now, could he have something to say about his teammates? Yep, but he don't. Could he have something to say about that front office? Yep, but he don't. When he's as already an established player like he is, and he's on the sideline chopping it up during the preseason or something, during the season with Shedeur saying, "Man, you think you would have got me with that move? He said, you think you would have caught me?" And Miles like, "Shedeur, boy, listen, I can catch Lamar. I can't catch him vertically, but horizontally, I can catch anybody." But Myles Garrett making a lot of people eat crow right now. That humble pie, well, he's gonna have to send out a lot of shipments because a lot of people had a lot to say. 100 sacks is a hell of a career for any pass rusher. He's 120 sacks. He's gonna probably end up, if he don't get hurt, which I hope he doesn't, 24, 25 sacks. When he is the guy you're trying to stop. They put that man. Remember back in the day, man, they had college, when NCAA first came out, they called it the student body. They sent everybody, they sent the whole team. They got the student body on his side, and you can't keep him out the backfield. But yeah, Myles Garrett, you see why you could have gave up 2 or 3 first round picks for him to get him, but
we offer 3. We offer them 3.
That owner for Cleveland, he can say whatever he wants. He knew he wasn't letting Myles. He said, "Myles, I'm gonna treat you like the Lions treated Barry Sanders and Megatron. You either gonna retire with Brown or you won't play no more." And that's what they told you. As long as you here, you're gonna be right on here with us. So, but I'm happy for him, man. He gonna break it. Couldn't happen to a better dude, but yeah, that guy was. There are 2 guys that I say were built in a lab when it comes to rushing the pass. I love Reggie White, love Bruce Smith. 2 guys that were built in a lab is Myles Garrett and Julius Peppers. They were built in a freaking lab. You see Julius Peppers, I think he like 4 all-time in like sacks. And before it's all said and done, nobody's getting 200, not even Myles now. Bruce Smith got 200 sacks. You ain't catching that. I don't
know, man. He's 30. He's got 120. Like you said, if he doesn't get hurt,
he's 30. And that back, listen. He's 7 feet tall. He's tall as Wembanyama when he's standing on his money. He that tall when he's standing on his bread. I think he got about 3 or 4 more good years in him, and then he gonna go buy an island or something. Whatever he gonna do with his bread.
If he gets upper teen sacks over the next 3 seasons, I think he's gonna do it. I think.
If he get it, listen, there are certain records. I don't think Emmitt Smith record gonna get broken for the rush yards.
1,800, yeah.
You're not nobody. You would have to be reincarnated to catch Jerry Rice. It's just not.
I agree. I think Jerry Rice.
Brett Favre.
Consecutive
games played.
Yeah, consecutive games, and I just think 200 sacks. I mean, 150 is almost crazy. He had 120 now, 80 more sacks. That's about even for him. That's at least 6 more seats. Nah, love you, Miles, but
we'll see how the next 2 years play out. Marvin, your thoughts?
I think, just to start where Ben ended, I think, when you look at the amount of money these guys are spending on their bodies, and you look at Brady, you look at LeBron, I think it's possible that this guy, could definitely be somebody who gets to that mark over time. He's a big guy, and typically, the big you are, that's a lot of body to maintain, and nicks and bruises and explosion and all that. And that's really what Ben's talking to. And I get that, but it's when you look at, the fact that this guy has gotten paid, he's on a bad team, and his motor, he's showing you the level of professional that he is. He's showing you, why he's great. And listen, how about doing something different and not taking, the money from a sexy city, not going to Miami, not going to LA, not going to New York or Houston, you know what I'm saying? But staying in Cleveland, which, listen, I guess you gotta love it to love it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but he chose to stay there. Yeah, he got a bag, so nobody feels sorry for him. This is what he wanted. You know what I mean? And he knew what the future was. So, taking that rare approach and staying with the team is something that you can applaud if you're a football traditionalist and you believe in, players staying on their teams and stuff like that. But, for him breaking his sack record, I definitely need him to do it in 16 games. Okay, I do. If not, we got to put I'm being real with you. It has to be in 16 games for me. All right. Secondly, and listen, he's in rare company. I mean, the Mark Gastineau, the Watt brothers, Lawrence Taylor. I mean, you're talking about all the old school pass rushers, and he's in that conversation without question. I will say that playing in this passing era is great for the pass rusher. It is, you know what I mean? A lot of these guys, Lawrence Taylor, when he played, you had big tight ends and big fullbacks in there. You know what I'm saying? And it was a different situation. You didn't get as many opportunities to pass like they do now. So he plays in that era, and that matters. But again, I think he's an all-time great player. I really do. And I think he does smash the record. I have tremendous respect for the fact that this man's on a losing team and he's giving you nothing but 100% effort. That's LeBron stuff to me. I'm a LeBron guy. That's Jordan type of stuff. So he's definitely in the area of great. And I think football fans should appreciate this time and watching him and watching what he does. I love the support he gives Shedeur directly and indirectly. He's showing what leadership is. He's showing himself to be a great teammate, as Bennett said. And right now, I mean, really, if you're the casual football fan and you get a chance to watch the Browns, you should watch this guy because he's historic and he's somebody who will go down as one of the all-time greats.
He definitely is, and I agree. I think he has to do it in he can't do it. He can't do it the last week of the season. He can't. He cannot.
Yeah. I'm happy that Marvin gave that. Jackson Smith Enigma. All you guys is coming for these records. If it's past week 16, you did it. But
you gotta have an asterisk.
If you can't get to 1900, whatever Calvin Johnson is, Jackson, we love you. But and once again, Megatron did it for the Lions. He didn't do it for a franchise. So if we're gonna break these records, and I know we're showing our age now, I don't care. Got to do it at 16. I know you're gonna be like, who is this dude? I'm just telling you because that's what makes it special. I did it, and look, but they saying they're going to 18 games. Still got to do it at 16.
Yep.
Because
we were talking about this last year with the Saquon thing. I was gonna give Saquon the benefit of the doubt because if he did it under the amount of carries that Eric Dickerson did it in. Even if he played that last game, if he did it in under the amount of carries, I would have given it to him because there was a couple games where he came out of it,
I agree. I agree with you, and I thought about that too, Steve.
Yeah, so it's one of these weird things. We might be older guys, but I do respect it when we sit in there and say it has to be done in 16 games.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're gonna call us old heads and unks and all
whatever,
that.
You can call us that.
I don't care, but it's like
old heads, unks, whatever you want to throw at us.
No matter what.
And we talk about these records. Let's not forget, O.J. Simpson ran for 2,000 yards in 14 games. Okay, that's the stuff I want to put out there.
Yeah. Listen, Juice was once again. On a bad team. I got a book coming out. It's called Him.
Sorry, bro.
And it's gonna be a lot of names. O.J. Simpson is not talked about enough, like how great of a back he was.
Yeah,
I'm talking about all-time great. So the 2,000-yard club is special. It is very special, very unique.
It is. But going from special to very unspecial, I want to stay there in that Las Vegas area. My favorite former coach to hate on has officially been let go. Now, Chip Kelly is actually going to get paid a lot of money to be sent home right now. Obviously, Las Vegas threw a lot of money at him to get him to not go to Ohio State. I wasn't a fan of bringing him in there to Las Vegas, and we seen Pete Carroll had given him his walking papers. But my thing about this one is obviously I'm not surprised Chip Kelly's gone. I have no love for him here in Philadelphia. What he did to my Eagles in the early 2010s, but that being said, where do you see him landing? I mean, me personally, I think it's done for him. I think that there's no more head coaching jobs left for him. He's going to be left at some type of coordinator position until he can prove that he can win football games. Because didn't really care for his return to college football. After his time here in Philadelphia and San Francisco. But where do you see him ending up? Let's start with Marvin on this one.
I'll be honest with you. To me, I feel like he has an issue with culture. I feel like he has an issue connecting and evolving. I feel like his leadership style, his mentality is a little bit old school in a way that's not really appreciated. You know, and I just feel like there's a bad taste in people's mouth after they've been with him. You know, I just feel like at UCLA and, you know, here at the Raiders, I mean, I just feel like it's just not good. And then you hear what Deshaun and LaShawn were saying, talking about with this dude, and it's just like he
was picking at them for weird things. You couldn't wear this color. You couldn't do this. You couldn't.
Yeah.
And then what he did to Genty when he got there, he changed his stance. You know, like, oh, you have to start playing like this. Like, yeah, that kid's been playing in that stance since he was in Pee Wee. Well, what are we doing here? I totally agree with that. He has a culture problem on top of not being you know, a top tier coach.
Right. You know, and I'll be honest, in regards to college, I don't see where I would think he would struggle dealing with these kids who got some money. You know what I mean? I think he would struggle with that. And I think in the pro level, I think the issue is these is grown men, you know what I'm saying, who know what it is and know what it's supposed to look like. And, you know, and their predecessors, you know, again, these dudes from the Eagles have already said he ain't the one you want. You know what I mean? So I don't think he lands anywhere relevant. I can see him at a smaller D1, you know, group of 5, something like that. Because, you know, he is a name and, you know, you're trying to build something, but I don't think any major football playing school is looking at him to be the leader. And I don't think any NFL team at this point has a locker room of men who are going to look at him and see a leader. So I don't see him on the staff anywhere relevant as a head coach at all.
I agree, Ben.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with Marvin more. These front offices need to stop being so tone deaf. Man, look at what he hasn't done. UCLA didn't get it done. I don't trust no coach come through Oregon. I just don't. Because Oregon, the reason why I don't trust Oregon coaches because they're really, really good regular season coaches. Do they win the Natty? No. They're not going to win the Natty. I don't want to hear Dan Lanning, none of them. Right? I don't want to hear nothing. If Oregon didn't have Nike, you wouldn't even look at them. I'm just saying, Oregon understand the branding part. They're a good team, but he's been to Oregon, been to Philly, been to UCLA, been to San Francisco. Now he's a coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why Chip Kelly's still going to have an opportunity, because all these coaches do is get recycled. Look at these staffs. Some of these staffs, the Raiders finna go to the same. They finna go to the same coordinator that's done it twice. Same guy. First guy gets fired, bring you in. You there originally. And I think for a guy like Chip Kelly is, you keep asking yourself, how do they keep getting opportunities when mediocrity is what's on the menu? I don't want to hear every coach got the potential to do something. Oh, man, if they wouldn't have lost, they would have won. Yeah, but they didn't. They lost. And I think for a Chip Kelly, why is it so hard for coach to adjust to players? What you mean? What you mean I can't wear this? We had practice, right? What you mean what you listening to? You the police? What you listening to? Like, I'm doing my job. When I was with the Titans, Keith Bullock told me, he said, True, let me tell you something. Yeah. In college, right? Yeah. You do what you told. He said, NFL, yeah, you do what you coached. That's it. You just do what your coaches do. Outside of here, you don't need to be hanging out at their house. Hey, Ben, man, I want to come by your crib. I'll bring it to the facility. Because all you got is your private life. You're a grown man. And there's a difference, right, between being disrespectful and coaching. And Chip Kelly be towing that line, man. And you can tell he seems to be one of those coaches that say, just do what I say because of my position. That only works in college. And that's coming to an end too. Because players are starting to say, well, coach, I don't think you're that good at what you do. You just have that position. I mean, Chip Kelly was in Philly, didn't work. Then he started moving around. It is hard these days to make a mockery of UCLA. But even he did it. He made a mockery of a school that hasn't been relevant in that long. What's a surefire way to know your team is going to stay irrelevant? Yeah, who they hire. Look at who they hire. Chip Kelly. The guy from the Oregon dude. He got UCLA players out there doing calisthenics on the field in a circle trying to embarrass them. I'm telling you, I'm gonna start going to these post-game press conferences. I'm like, I'm being Troupe. I yell, who you are, being Troupe, and who the hell you think you are, sports? So who the hell are you? They be telling some of these players, we respect production and resumes. Chip Kelly don't have either. He doesn't have a good resume, and he's not producing. And it took the Raiders to finally show the whole world. People saying, so they told Myles Garrett he went for the money, right? Chip Kelly was the highest paid coordinator in the league. Think about it. He's the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL at $6 million. How? Because he was at Ohio State, and they so-called pulled him away. Ryan Day, you know how hard it is to coach the best players in the world? It's not, but a coach can mess it up. I mean, what's wrong with my stance? It got me drafted I got drafted the number 1 running back in football out of Boise State. That had nothing to do with you, Coach Kelly. But I need you to stand like this. Why? Why do I need to stand like that? I want a Doak Walker. What did you do? Well, I've coached for a long time. Don't care. Where your ring is at? And I'm not talking about your wedding ring. I don't have any rings. I got it. And you was at Oregon. You was at Philly, who's a dynasty in the making right now, right? You took the money to go to UCLA, and you took the money to come to the Raiders. I ain't mad at you, but Pete Carroll has fired only one coordinator since he's been a head coach, and his name is Chip Kelly. He's never fired another one. That's how bad. Now, he's not finna fire the new offensive coordinator because that's his son, and I think the quarterback coach is his son. So they're not getting They're not getting – I'm not firing my son. If you're on my staff, hey, man, they just got to play better. I'm not firing my kid. You fire your kid. I'm just saying Chip Kelly is bad. Geno Smith, I don't know what's going to happen, but Brock Bowers has happened that he's gone. And sometimes, man, I work my whole life to get to the NFL for you to be telling me what I should and shouldn't say and how I should dress and walk. I remember when I was a rookie, you know how you have to buy food for the team. You know, my coach used to be on me, my tight ends coach, and he said, "Hey, Ben, since you're going to get food, listen. Now, I was going to get ready to tell him hell, and out the corner of my eye, I can see his bullet. He's just shaking his head like, get it. See, now, if the vet that I respect ain't shaking his head, that's going to be the greatest hell no you ever heard. But I was getting ready to say, and Keith, because he practiced with me, first he went, don't do that, younger, just, because he's like, you got to know how to keep the peace. You got to know which battles to pick. But I'm like, well, dude, I'm getting like 2 family size. Why you got to get I only eat the wings. You gonna eat the free chicken. You ain't getting no chicken. But I got it for him, and it's little stuff like that. I don't know, Max Crosby, that dude got some vets like that. But I'm not a fan of coaches that use their position to try to pound their chest when you're not that good at what you do. Yeah. I'm gonna say, Tom Brady said it. He said, before y'all judge bad quarterbacks, where their quarterbacks coach ranked? Where their offensive coordinator ranked out of all 32? So if I'm ranked 30, but my coordinator's ranked 30, well, that's why we look the way we look. I don't know where Chip Kelly ranks. But the only reason why I won't say the Titans are the worst team in the NFL is because the Raiders in it. The Raiders are worse than the Titans. And right now, the Titans will probably get number 1 overall pick. But I would go Raiders, Titans, New Orleans, Browns, then the Jets. I wouldn't even, what I'm saying? Because I'm looking at how they play, not that they play. And right now, to watch that offense right now, outside of Brock Bowers, woo. And I played for the Raiders. It is. You got to be an awful coach to get fired. No. Because when I was with the Raiders, we had Lane Kiffin, and he only made it 8 games. And he got fired by Al Davis.
He's popping now. He's popping now.
Hey, man, it's hey, man, Lane Kiffin has come a long way, man.
Yeah,
the son of Marvin Kiffin, the originator of the Tampa 2 defense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Monty, yeah.
So let's go on to this next one. And for this one, we'll have a little fun to try to keep this one quick so we start getting through some of these other topics we got. But on this day, John Madden and Pat Summerall called their first game back in November 25th, 1979. Obviously, these two were the OGs. They're the gold standard. Obviously, us being old heads. Who are your favorite, color commentary and announce teams. Regardless if we're talking football or you have another sport. Who are some of your guys' favorite voices? Obviously, again, Pat and John were legends for obvious reasons, right? But who do you guys like here? There's some current guys or some other guys that were calling games back in the 80s and 90s. Who do you have a special bond with? Let's start with Ben on this one.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Marv Albert. I mean, just had that classic voice. Brent Musburger, man, growing up in the South, you're going to hear Brent Musburger during these games. But for me, I know I used to like Keith Jackson. I used to love Keith Jackson and that Bob. It's a lot, guys. I mean, Bob Costas. But it's hard to put anybody on a level like a John Madden and Summerall because they knew each other's thought patterns. They just worked. John Madden talked about football to people as if they didn't even know what football was. Like, that's how he broke down the game to you. He'll say, sweep left. For those who know what a sweep is, that's when you take the ball. It's like, I got to meet John Madden one time, man, in Green Bay, and I don't even remember letting his hand go. Like, I'm shaking his hand. I had to let it go. I said, man, that's John. You know what I'm saying? That's John. But Summerall and Madden are hard to top. But I definitely had some guys that I really, really like, and what's his name? Ernie. That was Shaq and Chuck, and I like Ernie Smith. Ernie's really because I like smooth voices. Like it's like they just playing with us. They watching the game, smoking a cigarette with their feet up. That's what it sounds like. I like voices like that. Just no matter what happens. And what's the guy now? He's doing it right now. He does Monday Night Football.
Kirk Herbstreit?
No. A little short, light-skinned dude.
Mike Tirico?
Mike Tirico can do anything. Mike Tirico could do a beauty pageant. It's like he can do anything to me. So yeah, Tirico is one of my favorites. I don't like it when they try to make guys announcers. Like nowadays, they'll try to make you. No. I grew up wanting to be an announcer. Have guys like that, but Tirico is up there as well.
What about you, Marvin? You're one of your favorites, announcer or announced teams?
For me, there's two of them. I mean, listen, first off, I grew up, I'm a big football nerd. Football is, my first love. And, growing up, I was that kid who would like film. I would tape on beta VHS, tape NFL games, college games, just so I can rewatch them later on. You know what I'm saying? I was doing stuff like that. Would film the whole draft just so I can watch the draft all the time. But watching my dad play a few times, John Madden on numerous occasions had very positive things to say about my dad and his play. And I always, I'm a proud son. So those moments were always special. And I always had admiration for John Madden because he's like God, the God of football on the mic. You know what I mean? Great storyteller, great at explaining, as Ben has just said. And, he's synonymous with NFL. I mean, you just think of John Madden so as announcer, as coach, just great at what he did, icon. And then again, being such a football fan growing up, really, even though USC was always number one to me, just being a big fan of college football, period. Keith Jackson was the man. It wasn't football if he wasn't on the mic. He made the whole game experiences different and better. His expressions, his energy, the Whoa Nellies. All that stuff, man. He was great. And again, just as a player, for him to say my name, to me that was special because again, to me, he's history, man. He's God in there. So I had such tremendous admiration for these men, what they do, and the experience they gave me as a football fan. Keith Jackson, John Madden, definitely 1-2 for me.
Yeah, listen, I grew up with John and Pat. It was hard for me to even think of anyone else kind of being those lead Fox guys. Did not want to see a single game called without hearing them too. They had a special bond. You can call us old heads, you can call us unks, you can call us homers, whatever you want. Listen, they had a special way to kind of present the game to everyone. And I do have an honorable mention. I don't know why I let this guy. So when I was blessed
to get inducted to the Florida Georgia Game Hall of Fame, I got inducted with Vern Lundquist. And Vern Lundquist, my mother, knocked me down when she saw Vern. Because, we only know who's going in the inductees. And I'm like, Mom, that's Vern Lundquist. Mind you, he's standing real close to us, and just to shake his hand and say, Ben, I really, really enjoyed, calling games that you were in. And you know what I'm saying? Like, because those guys are so synonymous with the game itself. Chris Berman, back. It's so many names. So, hey, man, I guarantee you when these guys got into the profession, they never thought they would go to the heights that they went. But Keith Jackson, man, I'm trying to tell you, man, Rumbling the granddaddy of them. I'm just saying, man, like, yeah, some great guys out there. And so when you are the Joe Bucks of the world trying to carry on legacies like that, you see why these guys take it as serious as they do. And Chris Patrick is another one as well. But I mean, hey, man, Vern Lundquist, man, he was the man. He's 85 years old, by the way.
And speaking of the man, we're gonna get into some of these Hall of Fame semifinalists. As we went off the air last week, we found that who were the senior committee members. Obviously, Kenny Anderson, Roger Craig. Me and Ben have been beating on that drum for a few years now. Henry Ellard, L.C. Greenwood, Joe Jacoby, Eddie Madure, Stanley Morgan, Steve Tasker, and Otis Taylor. But today, the current slate of semifinalists comes out, and the Charger fans are going to be happy as both Drew Brees and Phillip Rivers are on their first year ballots are in. Rodney Harrison is also in as a semifinalist. Eli Manning is on the list. Frank Gore's on the list. Fred Taylor's on the list. Larry Fitzgerald, his first year eligibility, is on the list of semifinalists. Torrey Holt, Steve Smith Jr., Hines Ward, Reggie Wayne. Jason Witten is on the list on his first year eligibility. Adam Vinatieri has made it. Willie Anderson, Lomas Brown, Jahir Evans, Richmond Webb, Marshall Yanda, I believe that Steve Wozniewski is on there rounding out the offensive lineman. The defensive lineman is Robert Mathis, Vincent Wilfork, Kevin Williams. Linebacker, and obviously going to be on there is Luke Kuechly and Terrell Suggs, and rounding out the defensive backs. Obviously, I already mentioned Rodney Harrison, but Earl Thomas and Darren Woodson.
Ooh.
I'm going to say, I've been saying it for a few years. I want 10 this year. I want 10. I know it's unreasonable. I want 10. There's too many names on both the senior committee and obviously the modern era semifinalist that absolutely deserves to be in. If I'm only getting one out of that senior committee right now, obviously, I think I'm going to go Roger Craig. He was one of the first guys that was a dual threat, 1,000-yard receiver, 1,000-yard rusher. Yeah. Me and Ben, we talked about this when we had Ricky Waters on over the summer. He is one of those guys that changed how the game played through the running backs. Mm-hmm. Marshall Faulk probably wouldn't have been, as well of a name without Roger Craig doing what he did. Yeah, that West Coast offense was really special with Roger Craig. The fact that a guy like Marshall's already in and Roger Craig still isn't is just mind blowing to me. I mean, yeah. I think Joe Jacoby's another one that should be on this. He was part of that Hogs team for the Redskins through the 80s and early 90s. So obviously Tasker is one of your few specialists that I think should be given consideration. I don't think this is the year to get him in, but that modern era semifinals list is deep. It's deep. So again, that's why I'm saying I would like 10. I know I have some of my favorites. Let's start off with Marvin on this one.
Let me ask you, Steve, are we okay with Eli Manning being on that list? I mean,
no.
I mean, now the one of you seems okay. I just want to see if we're all on the same page.
I'm not. Listen, I don't. And that's draft class right there. I mean, that's my draft class 2004.
Yeah,
but I don't look. Super Bowls cannot be the reason why you get in no freaking.
Yeah.
Like. Yeah. That means that your regular season
nepotism should have no say in this.
Man, so if that's the case, Antonio Holmes didn't he win an MVP? Hines Ward, won Super Bowl MVP, so they get in. Come on, that's one game.
Right.
Look at his regular season stats and then come back and talk to me. Yeah. I mean, me and Marvin were kind of beefing off of my disdain for Joe's numbers, just because the touchdown to interception ratio is insanity to me. On top of the fact that he has a losing record, I get it, but it's New York, and we talk about this. Where you play matters sometimes when it comes to some of the stuff, and that's going to be the exact reason why
that last name helps a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think
name helps a lot.
Joe Namath was as big as you'd have to say he was as big as Johnny Unitas. You know what I'm saying?
I think he was bigger
at his height. So that's what I'm saying. So when you have that kind of impact as an NFL player, you are 1,000% a Hall of Famer first ballot. You know what I'm saying? When you're that kind of impact, which comes from one of the greatest upsets we've ever seen in Super Bowl history.
Yep.
But let's move on. Yeah, I don't. Anyway, so. Steve,
so your picks. If you're making, I'm going to pull it up one more time just so you have
it up there right now.
If you're making your picks, if you're going to get votes, who's in, who's out?
Well, Drew, without question, is going. That's a no-brainer. You're talking about. I mean, at one point in his career, he was the all-time leading passer in NFL history. That number has moved around, a little bit, or moved around a little bit after that. But his accolades and what he did for New Orleans, and just his presence, Drew. Absolutely frank. I probably need to go with Larry, Witten.
It has to be Fitz and Witt. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And then Richmond Webb would probably be the first guy on that list for O-lineman that I put in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd probably have to go with Luke Kinkley, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's would have to be list if it were me. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough though, man, because all those players up there are up there for a reason. I have nothing but love and admiration for every single one of them. I genuinely, in my heart, only question one name on that list, and we've already discussed that. I would have no issue seeing any of those guys at all get in. I think all of them were standout players. I don't think there's anybody else on that list, other than what we mentioned, where you have to think about that. Someone may say Phillip Rivers, but Phillip Rivers, to me, he was a dog out there consistently. He was talked about with tremendous respect. He didn't win the Super Bowl. He didn't go over that hump. I don't know that was always on him, but in a day and age where Tom Brady has as many as he has, it's hard to argue a quarterback who doesn't have a ring. But if there was, I don't like this. There are guys right now with multiple rings who I think he was way better than. And I guess I'll leave it at that.
Patrick Mahomes.
I wouldn't say that.
Pat's still got a lot to do. I know everyone wants to crown him like the new GOAT. Like, I still think Pat has a lot to do.
He's done a lot, though, Steve. He's done a hell of a lot.
I'm not going to say he hasn't, but like you said,
Steve, he spoiled us. It happened so fast and so soon that it's like, if he doesn't do that, we can't see him any other way. Like, it's just, that's how good he is, man. I mean, he's good, man.
Don't get me listen. I'm ribbing him a little bit, but like he has done a lot. He has done a lot to warrant it, but he's also been given a long leash at this point in time over the last few years.
I mean, Steve, if you really want to give him one more true test, put him on the Jets. If he can perform that miracle, then I would admit he's the best of all time.
All right, Ben, I'll throw it up again one more time for you, just so you have point of reference.
I got him. Yeah, I got him. I would say this. It is very, very hard to be in the top 5, top 10 list when your career is over. There are only 2 guys in NFL history with over 80,000 passing yards, and Drew Brees is one, and Tom Brady's the number one. So he's in. Larry Fitzgerald is number 2 all time in catches. Do you know who number 4 is? Jason Witten. He's number 4 all time. It goes Jerry, Larry, Tony Gonzalez, Jason Witten. People don't got to like it. I like Jason Witten. People don't like him a lot because he played for the Cowboys, not because of how he played. He played for the Cowboys. Easy to dislike him. So I would put him on there.
He used to murder us, man.
There aren't many linebackers.
And I used to hate it when they used to. He'd be the one. He'd be that security blanket that would just get Tony Romo out of every jam.
All I'm gonna say is this: he didn't play as long as some of these guys. Luke Kuechly is about as good as a linebacker that you're gonna see. Like, as far as like what he meant to the position. He didn't play a long time. I think he played like 9 years, right? In 9 years, he was Defensive Player of the Year in 2013. He was Defensive Rookie of the Year in 2012. He's a 5-time first-team All-Pro. He's a 2-time second-team All-Pro, right? I would put Luke Kuechly in. I would put Witten in. I would put Breeze in. I would put Fitzgerald in. I would put Luke Kuechly in. Here's my fifth. And I know he ain't as sexy of a pick. Terrell Suggs is 8th all-time in sacks. He's the one Defensive Player of the Year. On a defense that had, Ed Reed, and he found a way to make a name for himself on a defense like that. Because when I start breaking down these players, you only get 5, maybe 6. I would go Frank, Drew, Larry, Jason, Terrell Suggs. Oh man,
no big guys, man. No big guys. No big guys.
I would say this. Out of all the big guys, I would go Yonder. I think Yonder. Is it Yonder?
He was
for the Ravens.
Baltimore, wasn't he?
Yeah, Baltimore, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I don't like about the Hall of Fame. I don't like that you have to wait. What is this? I don't wait a year. Frank Gore is 3rd all-time in rushing. People go, well, was he ever? He's 3rd all-time. That's longevity plus production. That's both.
So we're no DBs, right?
No, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait on the DBs this year. I mean, I know those guys. Earl Thomas wasn't. Darren Woodson is gonna be a very, very intriguing because I think he got the most tackles in like Dallas Cowboy history. Earl Thomas was
something else.
Ridiculously good. And the only thing about what's the name about that for New England? He's on the list.
Vinatieri.
No, the safety. Rodney Harrison.
I put him on the Chargers, not as a Patriot.
Rodney Harrison did fail a drug test for PEDs. I don't think that should keep it because a lot of people, things happen, man. I don't think because he was a hell of a player when he was with the Chargers. Then he came over to New England and kept it going. The Hall of Fame in the NFL, nothing against baseball, nothing against, basketball. It's the most prestigious because it's the hardest.
Yep.
It's because you start saying, oh, that guy. Mm-hmm. All these guys are deserving. Guys like, people don't understand how great Reggie Wayne was, how great Torrey Holt really was. It was Torrey. Because think about it, the greatest show on turf. I'm sorry, is Isaac Bruce in? Yeah. Is Marshall Faulk in? Yeah. What about Kurt Warner? Yeah. Well, he's the last of the greatest show. I love you. He's the last.
Torrey Holt's on the list, and Reggie Wayne's on that list. And you were talking about Hines Ward. Hines Ward is also on that list.
Hines Ward has over 1,000 catches, Super Bowl MVP, one of the best. Nothing against you, Steve Smith Sr. Like, it's some players, man. When you start breaking down their games, the best 2 blocking receivers you ever seen in your life was Hines Ward and Steve Smith Sr. They would knock your whole block off. I wouldn't want to be a voter because some guys are going to get disappointed. Larry Fitzgerald, I'm 2nd all-time.
That's why I said we need 10 this year. Hence why I said we need 10 this year.
Listen, because making people I didn't play to be no Hall of Fame player, nothing like that. Like I said, I am blessed, extremely blessed to be in the Florida-Georgia game Hall of Fame. Didn't even know it was a Hall of Fame for that game. Marvin, whenever your dad's name gets called, I just want you to have just have somebody videotaping you. Because there's something about you sitting in that hotel, wherever it is, and all of a sudden y'all talking, you hear that. Shh. Sir, you deserve that moment. And look, all the coolness go out the window. Hey, what's up, baby? It's just hug him and just whatever shoulder, just let it all out. Because I look at you the same way I look at Jared Payton, the son of Walter Payton. Like he said, Ben, he says, you don't appreciate how great your dad is until he's gone. Because that's your dad. He can hoop. But then you go, my dad was him. Like, God, no, my dad, yeah. Your dad had a Jerry curl with the freaking headband on, with the pony cleats on. Like, what are we talking about? Sweetness is it might be the greatest nickname ever. You hear somebody named Sweetness, you don't expect no man to walk out. Oh, your name's Sweetness? Yeah. What's your name? When I went to Jackson State, HBCU, and I'm still him. You know what I'm saying? So, Marvin, when that happens for you, sir, just make sure that you got somebody filming it, you know.
Absolutely.
Because it is going to happen. And when it does, just try to keep the trolling on UCLA down just a little bit. Like, you're going to troll them a little bit.
No. I gotta do what I gotta do.
I don't think he's ever gonna do that. Have you seen his post over the past 5 days? That's never gonna happen.
No. I will listen, Melvin, and Melvin, you know we love you. Melvin. When you say things like, you know, what do you mean we ain't got champion? Gymnastics. Come on, Mel. Love the ladies. Love gymnastics. Yeah. Listen, love volleyball.
He brought up softball. He brought up girls softball.
You know how far down you got to dig.
That's when I realized. That's when I realized he was already
digging last Tuesday. He was.
I'm just saying when he said last Tuesday, I might have saw Candy go. She was like, "What did you just?" I'm trying to tell you, man. It's so many sports.
Yeah.
In college that if you see how many people like, yeah, man. You know, what about our equestrian team? What about our water polo team? I said, what about it? I said, Denzel Washington was in Great Debaters, and they make me want to be a debater. No, get out of here with that, man. I mean, man, we love you, but don't do that. Don't do that. I'm gonna bring football or basketball or track. Maybe baseball. We'll give you that, but you know, you start talking about, you know, hey man, our golf team is nice. Stop it.
Right.
So speaking of debates, right? Obviously, we were talking about the 49ers as that's going to be the next test for Shedeur Sanders. They got some stuff going on over there. Obviously, you know, I don't know if you guys heard, they basically voided out the Brandon Ayuk signing bonus. It's looking like it's going to come to an end very soon. Apparently, there's reports like he wasn't taking care of wasn't taking participation in team activities. He was trying to get on the field. He is doing some rehab stuff on his own, not at the facility. And it looks like this marriage has come to an end less than 18 months after his contract was signed. So what is your logical landing spots for him? Obviously, they're either going to release him or they're going to find some way to trade him. When he winds up on a team, because I do believe he is going to wind up on a team, what are you guys feeling? Is it going to be New England? Is he going to reunite with Debo in Washington and make it insane, skill position players that there for the Commanders? Does he wind up going to the Chargers? Is he a Steeler? What are your guys' thoughts on this one? Obviously, the contract is going to be weird. It's been a weird situation the last few years in San Francisco as a whole. But Brandon Ayuk, what are you feeling on this one, Marvin?
Not a lot. I mean, he's a guy who I looked at as a really up and coming young receiver. You know, he'd made some plays. Obviously, he had earned an extension or a new contract. It must be really bad between him and the organization. I mean, listen, if they're looking to fulfill their opportunity to avoid that contract and take your money, then, you know, whatever he was doing, he may have been just being disrespectful about it. With that said, what program, what institution is going to want to bring him in there? Listen, right now, Drake May up in New England is balling. He can use as many weapons as he can get because he's the real deal. You give him some above average talents and playmakers, you only see him do better. And then but the same thing you could say about the Chargers. Again, they have their young quarterback who's doing well, up and coming. I mean, again, you give a guy like that another weapon. If this guy's healthy, then the reality is he can help anybody. I mean, because he's a good player, you know what I'm saying? But I personally wonder, because I haven't read a lot of the stories, so I personally wonder, what are the details behind some of the things that they're claiming and saying? And is that something? If it's a culture issue, do you want that? If it's that big enough of an issue,
Ben, your thoughts on Brandon Ayuk and potential landing spots?
I just want to make sure that if this is indeed true, they're going to void his money, that they're doing it in a way that is legit. I will never ever trust when this type of stuff happens in these organizations. They will try to take your money. Is it conduct detrimental to the team? Sometimes it just don't work out. But if they void this money, NFLPA, please step up for this young man. Don't let him take his money and kick him out. And then 10 years from now, well, he probably should. No.
Yep.
Make sure that you can do that. Number one, because last time I checked, guaranteed is guaranteed, right? Not NFL. Fully guaranteed is guaranteed. Guaranteed is, and he got hurt. Players get hurt. It don't work out. I saw a video that he had on a different color pair of shorts than, Kyle Shanahan wanted him wear to practice. Man, you start worrying about what color shorts I wear to practice. Man, you come on, Kyle. Come on. Like, what? And you got people in the comments saying, what an a-hole.
Kelly all over again.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man. Now, no. What you need to have, you should have had the Falcons on there. The Falcons could definitely need another receiver. It's not going to help. But the Falcons
I can't choose who puts up these graphics. Yeah, I didn't even mention the Cardinals because I know he don't want to go there.
Oh yeah. He wants to go to he's on a real football team. He wants to go to a real football team. He don't want to go to a city that has nice weather. Even though I think Kyler Murray's days in Arizona might be coming to an end. Brandon Ayuk was a very, very intriguing player before he got hurt. His route running ability is nasty. It is. It's once again, we need to start talking about some of these coaches. Man, they could be hard to deal with, work with. Like Kyle Shanahan might be a hard coach to jail with. Like seriously, like we always coming down on these players, but you voided my contract and I ain't voiding it. NFLPA, give that man his $27 million and let him walk. People say, well, why would they do that? Coaches do it every day. Then we just show a graphic of Chip Kelly getting his money to walk. Hey, if it don't work out, give me my money.
And not just that, like he's probably, as Marvin was talking about, the highest paid offensive coordinator in football with nothing to back it up.
Yeah, nothing to do but go to the mailbox every first of the month. Get a check. I mean, and he'll make him give him a check. I don't want you to automatic deposit. I want to see it. I want to hold it up and look at it and go to the bank. If it's not working out for Brandon Ayuk, I mean, it happens. But just make sure that the 49ers can indeed keep his money from him. Because if they can't do that, don't let him take that man's money. I mean, he ain't got no loyalty to no freaking 40. I hate that word. No. We are loyal to our wives, to our children, to our families. All this. Well, he ain't showing no loyalty to 49ers. Ooh. What?
And that's why I say, the details behind, whatever they're claiming really matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it must have got real bad.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a big deal.
Think it's funny that not just one, but both of their wide receivers have found their ways out of San Francisco. Debo wasn't the greatest route runner, the biggest receiver, but he was a difference maker on that 2023 team that made it to the Super Bowl that fell short to Patrick Mahomes. So I just find it weird that here we are 2 seasons later, and both of them could be gone really soon at some point. So it's just a weird situation. I think there's some truth to what Ben's sitting there saying. I think sometimes some coaches you're not always going to mesh well with. You're not always going to work well with. We're going to see what happens is. And speaking of fits and things working, we're going to get into this Eagles-Dallas game. Obviously, I got some venom I got to spew, and there's some things that we got to talk about when it comes to that. But as of right now, Jerry Jones is looking like the smartest man alive right now when it comes to bringing in George Pickens this offseason. CeeDee Lamb has been the top of the league in drop passes and has hurt the Cowboys more than he's helped them. But when you look at what the production George Pickens has, and then you look at the entire Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver room, George Pickens looking like he was the right move for Dallas. Obviously, he hurt my Eagles last Sunday, and I want to get your guys' thoughts on this because we just seen Jerry Jones go through a rough contract situation with Micah Parsons. Do you think seeing what George is doing this season that Jerry's going to be smart enough to do whatever it takes to make sure you keep him in Arlington in Big D? Let's start off with Marvin on this one.
Yeah, listen, with these trades, a lot of times it's hit or miss. You know what I mean? Even when you deal with a guy who has productivity, I think with Pickens, I think a lot of his issue in Pittsburgh was maturity. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it was a matter of can he play? Does he have big playability? I think we had seen that in college, and then at moments earlier in his career. But Mike T runs a tight ship, man. You know what I'm saying? And I think you could be tolerant up to a certain point. And in his mind, I don't think he traded away a bad player. I think he traded away a guy who he thought just wasn't going to get right. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, when you change environments, that could be humbling to a player. It can also be a great opportunity for a player, just kind of a new beginning. And he's up there with Dak Prescott, who's playing hot. He's up there with the Pro Bowl receiver and CeeDee Lamb. And he's able to flourish, and he looks good out there, man. Jerry Jones for this trade in this moment looks like he made a very good decision. Will he keep him? Listen, this salary cap thing is crap. Them teams find a way to sign whoever they want to sign. You know what I'm saying? So if this kid continues to play the way he does, doesn't have any issues, it would absolutely be in his best interest to sign this young player. Especially when you're seeing CD drop balls left and right, you know what I'm saying, which is heartbreaking. But Georgia stepped up, man. I don't know if Dak's that good this year or if Georgia's making him look good. But together they are a serious combination. And again, kudos for Jerry for winning this trade.
Ben.
Oh yeah, Jerry definitely looking super duper smart when it comes to the George Pickens. But what Marvin said, it's never been. George Pickens is a big thing, top 10 receiver, top 5 this year. It's never been about his ability. Going all the way back to his days of Georgia, it's keeping his temper under control. Because the DK Metcalf experiment, that's not going well in Pittsburgh. And the thing about DK has always been this: he's a hothead too. DK getting in fights all the time. He's a big body guy. The thing about what George Pickens does well is what DK don't do well, and that's run routes. DK is a big body. I'm gonna use at a certain point, them DBs like, okay. And George Pickens said, I knew when they brought over DK, they wouldn't get rid of me. They could have kept him. He was still on his rookie deal. Think about that. I could have had DK Metcalf on one side and George Pickens on the other side. So this is less about what Jerry Jones did do and what Pittsburgh didn't do. Like, Pittsburgh usually make good decisions when it comes to stuff like that. But I think for Mike Tomlin, he said, like, I don't want to deal with him any longer than I have to. George Pickens can play. Like, he is nice. Like, the acrobatic catches that he makes, his run out the catch, and he's in a place where a guy like CeeDee Lamb can show, hey, man, even though he's out playing CeeDee right now, you in a place with Big D to where you're not bigger than the place you're at. You just a big name on a big-time team. But I'm happy for George Pickens. I think sometimes everybody's personality ain't this happy-go-lucky skipping down the road type guys. Certain guys, hey, man, this is how I am. This is who I am. There was another receiver. There was 2 other receivers there in Dallas that had huge personalities. One of them name was Michael Irvin. What was the other one? Dez Bryant. So Dallas is used to big personalities as long as your game is up to par. And
yeah,
George Pickens' game was, and he showed his best work when CD was hurt, when he had to be the number one. Excuse me. So I'm happy for George. I don't like that who I am as a person gets criticized because I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I'm not everybody's media darling. But ask any DB, they got to deal with George Pickens. And you can go back to when he was in Pittsburgh. They're like, oh, George Pickens. Oh, yeah. That dude. You ask any DB, who scares you more, CeeDee Lamb or George Pickens? Because CeeDee Lamb going to be in the slot most of the time. They'll put George on the outside. He's getting the number one DB. So, Jerry Jones did a good job with this one. And give Jerry Jones a lot of credit. He's good for picking up guys that have situational. He picked up Pac-Man Jones when he was like trying to figure out what he was going to do. A guy that I got drafted with a year after me.
Let's not forget T.O.
Owens, and he's dealt with quote temperamental type guys. But I don't even want to call George Pickens temperamental. He just fiery as hell. Like, look, I don't like defensive players. Forget defensive backs. I don't like. Just type in George Pickens, Georgia Tech. When he was at Georgia, you know how like they'll throw a guy for throwing a punch? They were brawling. Him and that Georgia Tech DB, they was out there throwing hands like they ain't even in a college game. So I was like, listen, he's a dog twice. He's a dog in life and he played for the Dogs. He's the type of guy you want. So, hey, shout out to him.
All right. Well, now, I mean, obviously, you know, we got to talk about my Birds collapse down there in Big D. Obviously, up 21-0. About 8 minutes left in the second quarter. Couldn't start off any better if you're an Eagles fan. You know, then they, you know, turned into Cinderella, turned into a pumpkin come the second half, and just was a completely different defense. I'm gonna note two different things because you had two big injuries that happened. Reed Blankenship, who's basically their quarterback of the secondary, goes out with an injury. Then you lose Andrew Mukumba due to Sidney Brown kind of make a tackle and he fractured his ankle. So you lose both of your safeties. So I'm not overly surprised that Dallas was able to mount that back, but you know, there's a lot of things going on in Philadelphia right now. And you know, we've been seeing a lot of stuff happening, you know, talking about, the overuse of Saquon last year is showing its effect. Is it Kevin Patullo's play calling? Is the offensive line not showing up? Now, obviously, we were talking about the potential last week that, you know, maybe A.J. Brown isn't the same type of player. When he was asked in that in the media, it was, well, you could say the same thing about Saquon, right? Now, to Saquon's, credit, he basically has put this on himself. Now, I'm going to say, you know, when you look at this picture as a whole, do I think maybe it's Saquon making some of these wrong decisions? That may be correct, but when you're getting hit 3 yards into the backfield like he was there in New York, it's looking like the similar situation. So I am going to say that I think we've only had the same offensive line outside of Steen play one full game together this season. You cannot. We talked about the Lane Johnson effect. That is a real thing. When you're now 9 games below 500, when Lane isn't in the starting lineup, that's a real thing. I think Landon Dickerson hasn't played like the dog he was last year. I think the fact that Cam Jurgens has been in and out of the lineup is a thing to note. I think also Jordan Mailata has been called on a lot of penalties. I think what really cost the Eagles this game was the 2 key turnovers. You know, the Saquon fumble, then the Xavier Gibson, the most idiotic play I've seen a kick returner do here in Philadelphia, right? But 14 penalties plus the turnovers is not conductive of what you see out of a championship team. Now, I'm going to pull up some comments here from Nick Foles. He was doing a podcast. He's done a lot of stuff over there, and his thoughts on it was Kevin Patullo is a great dude, great coach, but there's an art to play calling that not everyone has, and it's showing up this year. I mean, I see a lot of finger pointing going on, but I'm going to go back to the penalties. I'm going to back to the penalties in the offensive line. When you're averaging almost 10 penalties a game, you're putting your offense and your defense in a bad situation. That if they clean that up and win the turnover battle, I think they will find themselves deep into January. If not, I could very well see it being like 2023, wild card exit, first round exit, divisional round exit, however it plays out. You know, obviously we're the number 2 seed as we sit right now, but I mean, a lot of finger pointing going on. Up to this week, it was all on Jalen. I felt that he played a great game, but I've also talked about this before. If he's throwing more than 35 times a game, you're not going to be in a good situation. When Saquon Barkley is only getting 10 carries in a game, you're not going to find yourself in a winning situation. They need to figure out the running game. They need to figure the balance out, and I think that they'll be all right. I'm not 100% on this. It's Kevin Patullo's fault. It's the offensive coordinator's fault. I think they need to look. I think the offensive line, running game, Jeff Stalin need to take a real look at themselves and figure out what's going on with the running game, because there's no way when Tank Bigsby comes in the game, he's averaging almost 8 yards a carry, and then when Saquon comes back in the game, we're back into not running the ball. I don't know if it's the Saquon thing, but I think the mixture of those three things are one of the reasons why they've been so inconsistent this year. Last year, their identity was running the ball. If you're asking me what the identity of the offense is this year, it's absolutely passing the ball. But I don't think you should be passing the ball 35 plus times a game. That's just my thoughts just on it. And here's another one. I want to get your thoughts on this one, right? That Kevin Patullo / Nick Sirianni are obsessed with this hitch route. How is it that you have not one but two guys that are the highest percentage of hitch routes in the NFL? That's a problem. So when we're talking about that, Dallas Goedert is, does a hitch route, almost 10 times a game. Devontae Smith, almost 10 times a game. AJ Brown, almost 8 times a game. How are you having literally your top 3 targets run the same exact routes? That is a problem. So I think like when we're pointing fingers, a lot of it go into a lot of different places when we're talking about how inconsistent the offense is. But I think it's something that is absolutely correctable and something that could be corrected in season without replacing Kevin Patullo. Hold yourself to that championship, mentality that you do, but do it in all aspects of it. Marvin, your thoughts on this? Obviously the game was a rough one. I laid out a lot of stuff that we can potentially go over. What are your thoughts on it, man?
Yeah, it's tough in the NFL when you're up 21-0 on somebody or by 21 points and you lose that game. That's really not supposed to happen. Steve, it's hard to win in this league, man. It's hard to win in this league. It's tough to stay on top, and the things that are happening to you guys with injuries, this is what happened to teams. That this is exactly what happens. You know what I'm saying? And at times you guys have played great this year. That defense has played great this year, but in regards to scoring points and offense, at the end of the day, your whole offense is based on Saquon. And Saquon is absolutely determined is needing that offensive line to be intact, to be healthy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you guys are doing in regards to the explosive plays. I know last year he had a lot of them. Without question, he was doing his thing. But for him to come out obviously and just show a certain level of leadership and accountability is great. Obviously, the turnover doesn't help. You guys had 2, but his fumble that was a tough play.
You're in scoring position. You're in scoring position. So
yeah. So it's just one of those things where him not being able to get off, him not being able to have the productivity that's required for your quarterback to run his play action and to back those safeties up, him not being productive like that, whether it's him or the O-line. And that's going to be the issue. Listen, if you're able to run the ball, then all these things you're talking about in regards to the hitches and how many times they run it becomes almost irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Because with the good running game, you could do a lot in the pass game. You know what I'm saying? But obviously, you guys are having issues. Listen, you guys still have a defense. I don't know how long your safeties are out. For you guys, it's been about your guys up front. And if you have your players, you'll be all right. But with the injuries mounting, you just said you lost both of your safeties. This is what happens to teams, Steve. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to mediocrity. Welcome. No, I'm serious. Like, welcome to being a Cincinnati Bengal fan. You know what I'm saying? Welcome to I'm serious. It's like, at one point in the season, you're on top, but a few dudes get hurt, and that's it's a game of inches, man. And when you lose your dogs, that adds up over time. You know what I'm saying? So, for you guys, I hope you guys can get your running game going, because everything you guys need to do offensively is based on that.
So real quick before Ben gets there, Scotty and us will be on later for Inside the Pigskin. Obviously, Thanksgiving coming. We're on a day early, so that's where Scotty is. He's getting ready for Inside the Pigskin, and again, the giveaway. We're getting closer to 1 million views. You guys got to get those views up on YouTube before we even entertain that one. But Ben, go ahead. Your thoughts on the collapse in Big D and what could be done to straighten this offense out, brother.
Sometimes it's not that you lose, it's who you lose to. Dallas and Philly that's different. Yeah. I saw the video of the teacher that got the punching bags. What y'all do at school today? Oh, Mom, we was boxing. Boxing what? Boxing them freaking Cowboys. What? I will say this to Saquon. Every time, which is rare, every time a player goes over 2,000 yards, their production the next year is dramatically different. Dramatically. Some of them barely get over 1,000 yards. I was looking at Jamal Lewis and Chris Johnson and Derrick Henry and Adrian Peterson. Saquon needs to get past 2024. That when people say what is the best he can be, that's the best he can be, right there. And people start thinking, oh, we're gonna no. That's a lot of wear and tear on him, a lot. It's not so much the running game is the problem. You are inconsistent with how you call play. The running game, you have to be consistent in calling the plays in the running. You can't just 10 rushing, 10, you giving them the ball 10 times, rushing the football. There's no consistency with that. Them safeties are going to just sit back and play coverage. They're going to just sit back and play coverage. Saquon is still the same guy. It's just not the same level of production. And if you are the Eagles, when A.J. Brown is talking, when Jalen's being asked about it, sometimes you got to start saying, fellas, we don't want to be our own Achilles heel. We don't want to. Dallas needed that game. They have a very small window to get to play. Now, we didn't see it happening that way, but if you talk about the injuries, you talk about the big fumble on the punt return. You talk about the momentum, how the momentum swung. It happens. You wish it didn't happen too, but once again, Steven, man, you got good problems, man. You don't got problems for real. I'm trying to understand. No.
Listen. Right. I'm gonna bring this one up. Marvin can talk to this, right? The kick return, the punt return rather. He was knocked out of the Jets for his fumbles, right? We pick him up. We have Britton Covey on our practice squad, who was a top 5 returner 3 years ago. Xavier Gibson has 28 career touches, and 12 of them are fumbles. What in his right mind thought it was a good idea to field a punt inside the 5-yard line? I can't.
That speaks to coaching also. That speaks to coaching as well. Because listen, when you're a returner, there are rules you go through in your head that you say to yourself. You know what I'm saying? When you're out there with the punt return and a kick return, you're telling yourself these rules. So that comes down to this coaching, man. And it shouldn't happen at that level. To be honest with you, he was taking a risk. He was trying to make a play. He was trying to create a spark, but he made an emotional decision. And there are rules in place to overtake emotional decisions. You know what I'm saying? And that's what you saw happen.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put your foot on the 10-yard line. Listen, put your foot on the 10-yard line, and if it goes over your head, there are certain people who can take the ball on the 5, and his name is Devin Hester. That's it. He's the only one that can do it.
Deshaun Jackson too. Deshaun Jackson.
Deshaun Jackson can do it. But I'm just
Deion's the only other person that's allowed to do that.
Yeah. I mean, learn how to wave your hand like this. Run up and block the gunner. The life of a gunner should be a Netflix special. By the way, good Lord, they should.
That play that's where you show grit. Like I know I'm upset about the fumble and stuff like that, but that kid who forced that fumble, that's how you play punts. He got knocked down 3 different times before he even got to midfield, and he still wound up knocking that ball out. So it hurts. And Ben's right. It hurts that it's them, but no. I'm going to pull this up just because I'm going to have to deal with this. And we're dealing with these knuckleheads. So, no, he's not getting unblocked. It's not going to happen. And no, I'm not bringing up food questions because this is a sports show. So if you guys are going to continue this, you're going to want to block as well. Anyways, I ain't got no time for your nonsense today. Anyways. Now, we were talking about the injuries, right? Obviously, losing Mukumba is a big deal. He was playing great as a rookie. I think Blankenship will be back. He was having a thigh issue, is why he was out for the rest of the game. But I think it's real simple. Is it Sidney Brown going to be the guy, or are we going to reunite Vic Fangio with Justin Simmons as he's still available? What are your guys' thoughts on this one? You think they're gonna bring in somebody like Justin, or keep going with Sidney Brown, Marvin?
I couldn't even call it, to be honest with you. I don't have a take for that. I don't know.
I can see him getting somebody like Simmons because you got to have a veteran that can pick. You got to pick up his offense really, really quickly, like really, really fast, and you got to have a guy. Blankenship, y'all had two really good safeties. Like y'all got that pick in the end zone. Sorry, CD, but he can't put it nowhere else. He just out-athleted you to get the pick. Simmons, once again, this is the same Simmons that played for the Falcons last year. And he ain't gonna go over there with the Eagles. He ain't gonna be balling. Anyway, I can see him bringing in Simmons, Steve, because once again, y'all bringing in veterans, they got to play. This ain't no just fill-in. Hey, man, we got postseason aspirations. Mm-hmm. And once you out there, you out there. So y'all can see y'all getting somebody like Simmons. And like I said, Coach Fangio's defense seems to be very, very fun to play in.
Yep.
Because they put guys in position to make plays. They're not asking you to play out of position. Just do what we coach you to do. Be where you're supposed to be. With the pass rush and the linebacker play, yeah, I mean, you're going to have two for sure guys on the back end. Nothing cheap, nothing deep. Alignment assignment, get to the football. But I can see Simmons being the guy getting the call.
I'll say this much: if they didn't sign him already, I don't think they will. I think for good, bad, or indifferent, I think Sidney Brown's going to be the replacement until Andrew Mukumba's back. They just announced that he is going to have surgery on the ankle. I think that pretty much puts an end to his season, unfortunately. And speaking of ankle injuries, I got to get your guys' thoughts on this one. I seen it last week. We didn't quite have the time to get to it. I wanted to get to it this week. Obviously, we were talking about Shedeur, his injury. I don't know if you guys seen Raw. WWE. It was in New York last Monday, right? And the New York Giants were there. He was there. They did one of their taped things that there's a scuffle along the side. Shedeur got involved with it, and the New York Giants fans were absolutely livid that while he's recovering from his injury, he's enjoying a raw taping where they had a little segment thing where the wrestlers were getting in and having words with some of the players where he's on his surgically repaired ankle, and he's pushing guys around, things of that nature. Just a quick thought on this one, Marvin. Are you okay with him doing a little fun side action, or do you think he needs to concentrate on his recovery?
If I was his agent, if I was his parent, if I was his coach, if I was his teammate, I would have told him not to do it, to be honest with you, because I understand how that's perceived. And, at the end of the day, something could have happened is the bottom line. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Something could have happened. So, I also understand what it is to be young, to be young, to be foolish, to feel invincible, and to really in your heart not think you're doing anything wrong at all. I think he's a good kid. I think he has a bright future. I think that a couple of years from now, if not sooner, he'll look back at that a little bit differently. Because at the end of the day, when you're a brand, when you deal in this 24-hour news cycle, everything's filmed, everything's recorded. You got to move differently. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think it was a great look. I believe in players being able to have lives off the field. I believe in players being able to live their life and do the things they want to do. But I think had he spoke to somebody about it, which he must have, his agent must have known. He set it up for him. You know what I mean? It was something I would have advised against. I'm not mad at him. I don't look at him with any disdain or anything like that. I think he's a young guy, who in the moment just wants to have some fun. I think that's normal for people his age.
Yeah, I understand what he's doing, but people have to be very careful with this branding stuff. Like Cam, we get it. I guarantee you behind the scenes, whoever his agent is saying, look, he's going to stand behind the fence. He's going to push him. It's going to be more than what it looks like. Because I think he had the Schultz dude, the comedian guy. I think he was standing next to him.
He had a bunch of other teammates around him. And yes, there was a barrier between them. All he did was stand up.
Yeah. But
that was the end of it. That's all his.
It's like this, though. Here's what I'm going to say to Cam. Cam, there was another young super duper star in New York. His name was Odell Beckham, right? He was larger than life, but he was out there. Because here's what your coach going to say, whoever your coach going to be. They're going to say, Cam, you young, and we get it, but your play on the field better not slip. Because when it does, it might have nothing to do with what you're doing away from football. But if your private life now becomes public, that's what you gave us now. You at the game and them showing you at the Knicks game and you throwing up the deuces, that's cool. You at a wrestling event, come on, man. And I get it. This ain't the same athlete that we used to see in the 2025s or in the early 2000s. But Marvin knows this. You play for the Giants. That's who signs your checks. We gonna need you to be at the facility. If you talking trash while you sitting on the treadmill, but if I look up and that's what my injured, because guess who you don't see? Where Malik Neighbors at? You don't see him, and he been injured before you. Where did you see Jackson Dart? He was out there doing a little dance after Jameis Winston had a little touchdown catch. Cam, you spent your whole life trying to be in this position. I know the bright lights in New York is different. It's all outside of maybe LA, maybe Chicago. It ain't many cities like New York. And I get it. Sit right there at your house and do your little Twitch videos. Do those. Because at least you're at home. Because if that wrestler would have forgot the contract negotiation and would have hit you back, now breaking news, he done re-injured. Cam, a lot of things could go wrong, young man. Go home, play video games, go up to the facility, rehab. Because we seeing Cam a little bit too much these days. We seeing him a lot. I mean, for a person, and then you're on the little bike they give you when your lower extremities are injured. Just don't do it, Cam. I'm just saying, most guys don't have his profile, but you being known for everything but football. So be careful, because your owner, they don't understand it. They accept it, but they don't understand what you're doing. They don't understand it. So, and like I said, you got a long way to be in the same realm as like a Tiki Barber. You got to get some years on the youngin. Because when Tiki walked away from the game, holding that thing high and tight in the left arm, he could still do it. Tiki walked away and could still do it. So, yeah, I'm rooting for you, young man. But do more videos at the facility, at your house, less videos of WWE events behind fences. Let's just calm that stuff down.
Well, let's change topics here as we got the last 15 minutes ago. I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Me and Ben kind of touched on this earlier in the summer, but the Women's Professional Baseball League had their draft last week, and Philadelphia native Monet Davis wound up being the 10th overall pick. She's going from Philly to LA. What are your thoughts on the Women's Professional Baseball League, Ben?
I love it. Me and you talked about it. Look, I'm a girl dad. I'm a girl dad times 1, 2, 3, 4 times 5, right? I'm always rooting for women's sports because I don't got to compare the men to the women to appreciate the ladies. I don't got to do that, right? And I remember that young lady when she was in the Little League World Series, couldn't nobody hit off of her. Mm-hmm. This is what makes sports sport. I like the headline, she never left. I like stuff like that. So anytime the ladies get to have their own leagues, get to have their own moments, get to have their own shine, it's our job to make sure we buying the memorabilia, showing them to the games, analyzing them on these podcasts. So as long as we don't compare the men to the women, but we talk about the men like we talk about the women, or the women like we talk about, we doing our job. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to the ladies. Happy for them. Listen, another team in Philly to talk trash. Because the most Philly fans are not going to the games. They ain't going to be going to the games yet, but they're going to be talking trash to the other teams. I mean, y'all, because Philly talks trash. New York do two things. They love their sports teams and they love their boroughs. Where you from? The Bronx, Brooklyn. All of them in the borough. It's like an extension of Manhattan, but you know what I'm saying. But shout out to the ladies. I'm always happy for them. To call yourself a professional at any level, any sport, any gender, it's prestigious. It's rare. So salute to them. And it's only going to be a matter of time, but they're going to be the number one headline on the Fan in the end. Like, did you see the game? Hey, and I'm looking forward to it.
Marvin, your thoughts? Monet Davis, the official inaugural draft for the Women's Professional Baseball League.
Again, like Ben, I saw this young lady in the Little League World Series. She was dominant, outstanding player, and just really happy to see her continue on that journey. And obviously now she's really living the dream. You know what I mean? She's a pioneer. She'll be the face of this league. I hope that they invest money into the youth programs in the cities where they're going to have teams, because really the way to do this thing is to grow it through the youth. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to see women's baseball develop and grow, then get them girls when they're young. You know what I'm saying? Do a lot of community outreach. I'm for anything dealing with young people and positivity. Again, I love competition at every level. I can respect competition. And it's great, to see females have another opportunity to participate in sports, which, in this sport in particular, America's pastime. Baseball has been struggling for years because of its lack of growth. But obviously that's changed. You know what I'm saying? You see what they've done with the international player in that game. And then just incorporating females into it as well is just smart. We forget it's not a sport, it's a business. It's about making money. You know what I'm saying? So this pushes the whole baseball brand. I hope that the Major League Baseball is involved on some level. Similar to how the NBA working with the WNBA. I hope that they're helping push this. So I'm with it. Really proud to see her, Monet, doing her thing. And this is, something that I will actually have on my house on my TV.
Yep. Well, as we're talking about the women, want to get moving here onto some of these basketball topics, and we're going to be touching on Marvin's favorite team, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the reporters come out about the sale. I think that the coolest thing about it that I've seen was the fact that each of the Bus siblings will reportedly receive $1 billion each a pair, which is absolutely insanity. Dr. Jerry Buss was amazing for making the Los Angeles Lakers one of the biggest brands in professional sports. I think his daughter has done a great job of what she's done, and the sale of the team, I think, just speaks for itself. We were just talking about the ladies, so I'm going to start with you, Marvin. Obviously, this is one of your teams here. What are your thoughts about the sale and what Jeannie Buss has done here?
Well, Jeannie Buss, my USC Trojan sister, has done a phenomenal job with them Lakers. Listen, when you're a dad, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a dreamer, this is what you do it for. You know what I'm saying? You do it to put your kids in a position where they can be great, on a different level. You plant seeds. You take chances, and I think, all entrepreneurs, all young entrepreneurs, first-time entrepreneurs, people new into that area can see that, and it gives you inspiration, to be honest with you, of what could be, you know what I'm saying? What could be one day, you know what I mean? So love it. It's the same organization that's taken over the Dodgers, which I love because the Dodgers are well-run, and they do a phenomenal job. And is I'm with it, man. I'm with it. I think this is a good thing for the organization. I think we need different leadership, and not that Janie's not good or has done a good job, but I think after so many years, especially as we come to the end of the LeBron days, it's good to see new leadership, inspiring leadership. And listen, they're gonna all get a Billy, and they still retain like 15% of the team. So to me, it's really a win-win situation. But once you get to the point where all the siblings is going to each get a B, and you still get to retain the team in part and call yourself an owner for real, and still walk that town like the owner of the Lakers and get them seats and have that impact and still continue to be able to create those relationships. I mean, that's just a win, man. That's a win. Kudos to their dad for having that vision and having the guts to put himself out there.
Yep. Ben.
That's legacy. Legacy is what you do when you're dead and gone. It lives on when you're gone. Mr. Buzz, he said, look, I'm going to leave it in y'all hands and I'm going to trust you with it. I mean, Jimmy Buzz is the 2025 version of Bruce Wayne because his family the one owned everything. And when they died, he's like, I got to keep this around. And he didn't want it. He didn't realize how impactful it was until he had to run it. Jimmy Buzz said, but you just said it, Marv, me and my siblings get a bill apiece, but I still get to make decisions. They put that in the contract. Hey, you own the Lakers. We run the team. That is business. Business is, hey, man, you going to sell that? Yeah, I'm going to sell it off, but they got to still use my name. What you mean? Because they buying me. Yeah, and the Lakers, no matter what, like them or love them, they are the gold standard. When you start talking about branding, I know Dallas doing what they doing, but Jeannie Butt told her brothers, watch the flex, though. Watch the flex. We going to sell it, keep a small stake in it to still be in the meat. Because, look, we are running the decisions, the operating decision when it comes to the Lakers. Why? Because he got the money. He don't know how to run it yet, so he had to watch us run it. And we going to put it, we decide when we leave. They can't just vote us out. Man, that's business. That's when people be saying, most teams in sports ain't finna win no championships. The Lakers got so many they could donate some to some of these other teams, right? Jimmy Butt said, no, my daddy taught me how to sit at this negotiating table and handle business. And that's what she did. So, and no matter what, she's responsible for LeBron coming. Call it what you want. Jeannie said, I could get him to come. And he won a chip with us. I don't agree. I don't agree with Fisher saying if LeBron get a statue, he should get two. Fisher, I love you, but we don't got to do that, man. We don't got to do that. But what I will say is this: people say, why won't LeBron just lead the Lakers? Because he's trying to learn all he can learn from his boss. What? Oh, he's trying to learn everything he can learn. So I love the fact that they doing business, and with all these, listen, just like the Miss Ursay over there with the Colts. Don't let these ladies start running. Hey, if they daddy's girls. My daddy's gone, but hey, daddy, we good. We got you. We got you.
Now we got two more basketball topics I want to get your thoughts on now. Obviously, over the past few years, Netflix has grown exponentially. We've seen some of their sports related shows they've done. The quarterback show has gotten, from what I've seen, they're getting ready to do a third season now. But unfortunately, the NBA's counterpart to the quarterback, the starting five, has officially been canceled. From what I was reading, that the viewership was way down. It wasn't even in the same stratosphere as what they were getting through the quarterback show. I'm going to start with Marvin on this one. Obviously, when they make this thing, they're putting it in about LeBron, but I think it's more than that. Consider it's the starting five, and we're talking about five different starting position players. But do you think this is a thing where there's the popularity of the NBA hasn't quite followed what the NFL is doing, and that's more of the reasons why we're seeing this canceled via, instead of just like the overall superstars that are involved with the show?
I haven't seen the show, but let me say the NFL, I think, considering their main objective to push their brand and make money, I think they do a phenomenal job. I mean, they're Nike, if you will. I think the NBA also has done a good job. This could be just a lack of interest in LeBron. You know what I mean? This could be a new generation of viewers who would watch this kind of stuff, just saying, you know, they're on to the John Morants and on to the whatever it may be. Because if you put another team in that situation, as big as the brand is for the Lakers, international global brand, you know, like Ben just said, championships up to yin yang, you know, you got people who have LeBron fatigue. You got people who have, you know, Laker fatigue. You know what I'm saying? So it could be that. I don't know. But I think there's probably a path to success if you want that kind of show. Maybe if you're featuring different players, maybe you're featuring different teams. You know what I mean? But that's what I think.
Ben.
Yeah, I agree. The NBA fumbled the ball from this reason. This is your opportunity to thrust some new faces and names, you know, to these shows. You cannot. LeBron James was born in the 80s. Your fan base now is early 2000 kids. You got to be able to resonate with your viewing audience, and because NBA fans are older people, but you always want to galvanize these young faces, and I think Netflix missed the ball because they were saying, dude, it ain't like Receiver on Netflix to where there go Justin Jefferson, there go Jamar Chase, there go Debo Samuel. Oh, we get these guys, right? The NBA is saying, man, you had Wembanyama, you got John Morant, right? You got SGA and those guys. You should have used it for a chance to push them. The NBA doesn't like the fact that your superstars have to get younger for the game to survive. I know you got KD. I know you got LeBron. Right? I know you got James Harden, those guys, but them guys was around when DVDs was around. Man. I'm just saying, like, you got these kids now. What about the streaming kids? You're supposed to do that. Now, could you have a starting? I think you have a starting five for different audiences. You can't just make us like people do have LeBron fatigue, and people respect LeBron, but LeBron's been in the league so long, his son is in the league. So put it on Bronny. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been around that long. They say, man, I remember when I played against Bronny. So, yeah, they just dropped the ball. But I would say this. I think if any other league would have done it, the Rays would have. You don't compete with the NFL. Not in America. I don't care what the brand is. Like baseball, hockey, golf, tennis, track. NFL is supreme. Now, I think the only thing that could have competed with the NFL had it been a starting five or something with college football, that could have competed a little bit, depending on the school, the player, the coach, the tradition. Sorry, man, but people probably said LeBron again. That's probably what they say. It's something with LeBron again, because LeBron is everywhere. He's not just basketball. So. Yeah, but I think it's because of what you went up against. You don't go up against the NFL. Not if you want ratings when it comes to sports. A regular season game, when I think Dallas play on Monday night, they play on Thanksgiving. I think
them in Kansas City.
Let's watch those ratings. I want you to see those ratings when that game is over. It is Dak and Patrick Mahomes in that NBA Finals can't deal with regular season games in the NFL. So you know Netflix ratings.
So I know we're down to the last 2 minutes or so. I want to get at least Marvin's thoughts on this last topic, right? Obviously, coming into this year, I've basically been calling LeBron James the Cal Ripken of the NBA. He's the Iron Man, right? Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, Iron Man's been falling apart, and because of what he's missed at the beginning of the season, if he misses 4 more games, he's going to be ineligible for the NBA awards. What are your thoughts on that? I know the Lakers are your guy, LeBron's your guy. What are your thoughts there, Marvin?
Yeah, so obviously this was put in place because they want to stop, guys from taking their own sick days. You know what I mean? The guys missing games and load management, I think it was from a fan's perspective hurting the game. So, and then you attach this to something that's attached to your bonus structure. You know what I'm saying? So players, in order to make their money, they got to make, all NBA first team, second or third. They got to make all defensive, first team, second or third. And if you're missing games, then you ain't eligible for them all-star teams. If you ain't making them all-star teams, you ain't hitting your money. That's messing your contract up, what you can make. there should be a grandfather clock in there for people LeBron's age. There should absolutely be something in their CBA that allows for you to have load management if you've played 13 plus years in the league, whatever it may be. Or you should have the Michael Jordan rule, which would apply to LeBron James too. If you're a certain caliber player and you mean so much to the league and to our ratings, and you've been in the league 20 years or whatever it may be, again, there's exceptions. So I think what they did with this rule is a good thing, big picture. I think they have the right thing in mind. But I think now you realize where you have to have exceptions, and every rule has exceptions. And when the bottom line is making money, again, you want to have exceptions. So I hate it because LeBron James we're at the first half of the season. He still legitimately may earn in the minds of fans, an all NBA position. You know what I'm saying?